Okay, so I am finally here, and I'm finally ready to do my review on Ghost of Yotei. I feel like um, this has taken me, I want to say, too long to do. Like the game came out at the beginning of the month, and I've been playing it like the whole month, and I feel like I probably could have gotten this review out sooner. But I decided to not. I didn't want to rush through the game or playing through the game, and so uh, I feel like this is. I mean, this is still in the same month that the game came out, so I feel like it's not terrible. But yeah, I'm finally here to talk about Ghost of Yotei. I want to give my full thoughts and opinions on the game. I did make a video before talking about, my thoughts so far in the game, but I have now beaten the game. I've beaten the main quest. I've done side missions. I've explored a lot of the open world. I haven't done everything that you can do in the game, but I've done uh, a considerable amount. And so, yeah, I want to do a review of this game, talk about it, and yeah, I mean, so without further ado, let's get straight into the Ghost of Yotei review.
Unreal. A wandering spirit seeking vengeance.
Who are you? I thought we killed your whole family.
The snake. The Oni. The Kitsune. The spider. The dragon. Lord Saito.
What are we going to do with this one, Saito?
I'm sorry it came to this, little wolf.
Situ Rainu. Why do you always call me that?
It means one who is easily lost in the hunt.
Okay, so just giving my overview on the game or my thoughts and opinions. I enjoyed my time with Ghost of Yotei. Going into this game, this is a sequel to the first Ghost of Tsushima. I remember playing that game back in 2020, and I really did enjoy the first Ghost of Tsushima game. The combat, the samurai style combat with the katana and everything. The just like the world or like the open world of Tsushima was obviously very beautiful. The environments, the kind of like the feudal Japan, look of the game and everything. And so going into this game, I kind of had expectations of this game, I guess, going in terms of like, would it be just as an immersive and fun experience as the first game? And it's, especially with the story and everything. We'll get into that, later on and everything. But yes, I did enjoy my time with Ghost of Yotei. Did I enjoy it like as an overall experience more than Ghost of Tsushima? Yes and no. And what I mean by that, I'll have to get into like what I mean by that like later on in the review, but there are many parts of this game that build upon what Ghost of Tsushima did in the first game. And, especially with combat, but especially with like exploration and everything like that. And so I enjoyed my time with Ghost of Yotei. And when it comes to PlayStation exclusive games, obviously, it does a good job of being that too. And I think it just I think it does a good job of immersing you in the world, whether you're using the map or you're not. And so, yeah. My thoughts on gameplay. When it comes to the first Ghost game, it did a good job of capturing what it felt like to be a samurai or a stealthy assassin. Coming into this game, it was interesting to see what this game would do to improve combat. In the first game, you had different stances with only one weapon being the katana. In this game, you get multiple weapons. You get dual katanas, the odachi, which is like the big heavy weapon, the yari, which is basically the spear in the... I always don't know how to like pronounce this word. I think it's kusarigama? The kusarigama? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's okay. But that's like the chain and like ball thing that you get, and like you can like yank people with it towards you and kill them. In terms of just sheer variety, this game is better in terms of like what you can do in combat. There's just the sheer variety of different weapons that you have. Definitely makes the combat more I guess engaging, just in the terms of like you have so many different options to choose from in terms of like how you want to take on certain enemies. The thing about all of the weapons in the game is that it employs a rock, paper, scissors element to the game, meaning that there are certain weapons like the dual katana that can beat enemies who use spears. If you use a weapon like the adachi, it is meant for heavy set enemies. So yeah, this game, going into it, this game has many weapons, but it's very important to note that like you have to use certain weapons to, take on certain enemies. So like it is recommended, but it's not like necessary. Like you don't need to use that certain weapon against the enemy, but it is like an advantage if you use that weapon. I like this feature in the game because it forces you to adapt on the fly depending on different enemies. As I talked about, there are complaints that the game doesn't let you use whatever weapon you want all the time, but for me, I still was able to use any weapon I want. It's just not as effective. There is also the ability to be stealthy in this game as well. There are many different ways to be stealthy in this game. You can obviously stealth kill enemies in this game. You also get things like smoke bombs and kunai. The kusarigama was probably my favorite stealth weapon in the game, mainly because you could yank people towards you and kill them, like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, and so that was cool. I'm not very good at stealth, so I found myself trying to do only stealth in some sections, but most of the time I would fail. I know there are probably other people who play this game who like only do stealth and are probably only or are like really good at the stealth section in this game. For me, like I tried to do stealth, and I talked about this in my Metal Gear Solid Delta review. I don't know what it is when it comes to stealth. Maybe I'm just like bad at it. I don't know. Like I'm just like I'm not able to like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm just bad at stealth, I guess. I don't know. But I did try to do stealth anyway. And there was like certain moments where like you also get like this listening mode. Basically, it's like, you know, The Last of Us, where like you can you press a button and you're able to see the outline of different characters. So having that definitely helps with like stealth sections as well. In terms of other parts, when it comes to gameplay, you get companions that help you throughout the game. The most noticeable one in the game is the wolf. The wolf is probably the coolest part of this game when it comes to combat. The wolf is able to join you in combat scenarios, standoffs, or you use your shamisen, which is basically like your little instrument that you have in the game, to summon the wolf to take out enemy camps. The wolf also has the ability to save you from death at the last second, not only from regular enemies, but for bosses. And so that was pretty cool as well. Having the wolf in this game was definitely the coolest way to have a companion who assists you in battle. Also, some people think that he's the reincarnated version of Jin Sakai, but I don't think so necessarily, but that is a cool theory. All I'm going to say is, when you get a side mission called Stormblade, make sure you do that side mission, because you're not going to be disappointed. In terms of how challenging this game was, that's an interesting conversation in itself. First of all, going into this game, I was just going to play it on normal difficulty, but a little bit into the game, for some reason, maybe because I thought the combat was too easy, I decided to bump up the difficulty to hard. I had heard from other people that in terms of the first game, playing the game on lethal was like a different experience altogether. So I bumped it up to hard, and I will say, yeah, the game got harder. So not only do you take more damage, but the enemies just become way more quicker in their attacks. Not only for like normal enemies, but like bosses too. So like just like boss battles in the game became more difficult as well, and also like the 1v1 duels that you had in the game became more difficult just by bumping up the mode to hard mode. Yeah, I will say there were many times in this game where I died, and the enemies, like, yeah, they're like really they just become way faster. So I can only imagine, like, I was playing on hard mode. I can only imagine what this game is like on lethal mode. Like, Jesus Christ. I forgot to mention, but you also get a gun in this game as well. That's another thing that you get. You get I guess like a rifle. I don't know what you would call it, but like you get two types of guns. Like you get like this pistol that you can use when you're like using a melee weapon as well. Like you can pull it out and shoot someone, and that will basically give you a prompt to like execute an enemy or take out an enemy as well. And so that's cool. But also you get like the rifle that you can shoot far away. And I didn't really use, I think I used the gun, but I didn't like use it a lot. I didn't really use the bows that much as well either. Like I know in the first game you had bows, but like I didn't really use them that much. But I did use the gun. I used like the pistol that you get in the game too. But like there are, just like in terms of like the variety of weapons that you have in this game is definitely better than the first game, just in that. So my thoughts on exploration. The world of Ghost of Yotei is vast and beautiful. When it came to the open world part of Ghost of Yotei, I didn't have a doubt that this game wouldn't be beautiful just in terms of the environments and the painting-like vistas this game has. I think if there was one complaint that the first game had, it was the open world sections of the game. In the first game, you had things like the bamboo strikes, hot springs, and fox dens, which all return in this game. I think the complaint came from the fact that the game felt like a too checkmarky in terms of like those things. Finding the 10th fox den can only be fun so many times until it feels like been there, done that. So this game still feels like that, but there are some cool additions this game has, like the bounties. There are so many bounties in this game that all feel different and unique from each other. This game also, like the first, has 1v1 duels. Those are always fun to play and can be more challenging just in terms of having to switch up your weapons on the fly depending on the enemy. I think there is something that makes the open world more enjoyable. I talked about it in my last video about this game, but the best way to explore this game is just to explore. Trying not to use the map in this game was hard for me. Just in the fact I'm so used to having a map at my disposal whenever I need it. I don't do this often, and I want to when I go back and replay the game, but just not using the map and just exploring and finding random things in the moment did make for a more enjoyable experience for me. The surprise of encountering a bounty without realizing it or a side quest made for a more immersive experience. I already mentioned it. But yeah, this game is beautiful to look at, dude. There were so many moments where I was just standing on a cliff and I was just looking out into the open world and just taking in the view. The use of color in this game is also apparent, not only just to look nice, but also for specific side quests, and using your environment to know where to go for certain activities was nice as well. Obviously, a good example of this is like the hot springs. They are used to upgrade your health, but they have our there's a hot, or it's a hot spring because the environment will be like this red color leaves, and that is basically supposed to represent like your red health bar that you have. And so things like that I always just like appreciate and like are cool to me. And so you have the giant mountain in the game called Mount Yotei, which is just nice to look at by itself as well. In terms of like the art direction for this game, it's definitely like a 10 out of 10 for me. I didn't mention it, but this game also has photo mode, and it uses it a couple of times in this game. But I know there are people who are way more talented than me when it comes to that stuff. I did take like some photos, or I did try to like, dabble in like the photo mode a little bit. I did get some pretty cool screenshots of me in the game. Shout out to Jack Quaid. If you don't know who Jack Quaid is, he plays Huey in the Boys series. That dude definitely has an eye for cool in like atmospheric photo mode pictures. He has a lot of cool photo mode pictures on his Instagram, so definitely follow that dude. My thoughts on story. Going into this game, I had weird expectations for the story in this game. But the way they phrased or laid out what the main story would be, I was a bit skeptical. This game is a revenge story where you do the thing of hunting down the people who killed your parents. In my head, I was like, okay, that's cool, but is there more to it than just that? We've seen games do this before. The Last of Us Part 2 is a shining example of this. That game does it in such an interesting way in terms of telling a revenge plot story. Coming to this game, I was interested to see what they would do. I think this game has a solid story, but I don't think it's as good as the first game. The first game had you play as Jin Sakai fighting off the invasion of the Mongol Empire. But what made that game so special was the idea of having to throw your morals and your values away to protect the people that you love. But in turn, being hated by the people you wanted to protect, basically becoming an outcast.
The Ghost was an outlaw. He taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison. A gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
The idea of that was so interesting to me. When it comes to the story of this game, the idea of revenge and what you're willing to do to get it is an interesting theme. But I think Ghost of Yotei doesn't do anything really special with that idea. There are some twists and turns that this game does that keep it refreshing, but I think overall I still enjoy the first game's narrative more. The utilization of the DualSense controller. Another thing I wanted to shout out is the utilization of the DualSense controller. When it comes to PlayStation developers, I feel like they never really utilize the DualSense controller. Team Asobi is the only other developer that I can think of that utilizes the DualSense, especially with Astrobot in that game. The only other studio that I can think of that does it is Sucker Punch. I've always noticed that they try to utilize the controller not in necessarily major ways like combat, but just in small ways or like small little activities that you can do. My main examples are using the touchpad to draw paintings, using the touchpad to play the shamisen, or just using the controller for cooking, or using the controller to forge new weapons. And so that's just like a small thing I wanted to like shout out, is that like, I mean, it's a small thing, and like a lot of people like think like it's not really that important, but for me, like, it's just like little small things like that, like being able to use the touchpad, that immerses me just a little bit, even if it's like just like a little bit, like immerses me a little bit more into like the game itself. And so like I just wanted to like give a shout out to that. So overall, I enjoyed my experience with Ghost of Yotei. Did I enjoy it better than Ghost of Tsushima? Yes and no. I think the game has the same thing that Spider-Man 2 had, just in the fact that this game takes what the first game did, but made it better just in combat and exploration. In Spider-Man 2 case, it had better swing and traversal mechanics and combat. What Spider-Man 2 didn't have was a better story, and that's how I feel about Ghost of Yotei. This game builds upon what the first game did and succeeds in that, but when it comes to narrative, the first game had more of an impact on me. If I was to give this game a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I do recommend this game if you're into samurai style games with open world exploration and fun combat. This game is definitely better than Assassin's Creed Shadows, so yeah. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts and opinions on Ghost of Yotei. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of Ghost of Yotei as a game. Did you play it? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it more than Ghost of Tsushima? Did you not enjoy it? Leave all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. And yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one. So yeah, bye.